Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. Man, this morning when I was on my way home on the bus, I don't know, I just felt sick almost. I think it was motion sickness, but I got off the bus and I walked the rest of the way home and I felt better, but now I'm kind of in bed just trying to make sure that I get rest. I don't know. Anyway, so that meant that kind of the first part of the day was a bit of a wash, but trying to do something productive with the last part of my day. And uh, I've been thinking about uh, Nicholas Nickleby by Charles Dickens and the A&E theatrical production of it. And that's got me thinking about, kind of Dickens and the imagination, my time in theater and improv, and got me, as per usual, I'm now thinking out about a few other things because of that train of thought. So let's once again, I'm going to try to give you the basic idea up front so you have that, and then I'll probably just uh, jaw on a little bit about what else I'm thinking about. So let's see, Nicholas Nickleby. I started reading Dickens pretty seriously when I was, I can't look at the screen while I draw. So I'm not going to look at the screen at all. So I'm sorry if I wobble and you can't see what I'm drawing anymore, but I got to look at the paper. That's part of my problem with digital drawing is I've never liked having to look at a screen while my hand is down on, a pad. And I always just feel disconnected from it. I like the physicality of the piece of paper and the ink in my hand. So anyway, Nicholas Nickleby. I read this book after watching the theatrical production by A&E, and this theatrical production is 8.5 hours long, maybe 9 hours long. And when it was originally performed, they would perform it over the series of 2 nights, or they do a matinee show where they marathon the whole thing in one day, and it is an incredible theatrical performance. And I would highly encourage artists to watch that and to pay attention to what the actors do in that show. I've done some acting for fun, just kind of as a extracurricular thing, and those experiences have informed me a bit about how I draw too. And I often, when I get a chance, I'd go photograph actors for the school newspaper, or I'd go watch actors who know their stuff, because I feel like it's a different art than drawing, but it's an art that can inform a person who draws, because both an actor and a sketcher are trying to observe something true about human nature and human language and expression. And the actor brings that about in their own face, and the artist has to try to bring that about in characters on a page. Again, go read Eisner. He talked about thinking about drawing as being like a director, composing your actors and moving your actors across the stage, where the page is your stage. But the Nicholas Nickleby play, you need to go watch that. And I want to watch it again. I want to draw while I watch it, and I'm making observations about what the actors are doing, because I've talked in the past. One of my earliest videos was about Jane Austen and Charles Dickens, and I just kind of briefly mentioned the idea of having a sketchbook in your hand, or just some scratch paper nearby you, and quickly sketching out things you observe. So you're not stopping and making like a long, laborious drawing. You're making really quick observations on what's sticking in your mind, what's creating an impression on your imagination. So it's more note taking in the form of drawing than it is like carefully observing the details of the human face. And I think both of these are necessary. Okay, so here's where my train of thought started going. I started thinking about Ethan Van Sciver's new YouTube channel, Comic Pro Secrets. I'm sure if you guys are watching me, you know that, because so many of the DNC fans are also Ethan Van Sciver fans now. But if by some magical set of circumstances you've stumbled across the number one Marmaduke fan channel and you don't know who Ethan Van Sciver is, your homework is to go subscribe to EVS's YouTube channel, Comic Book Pro Secrets, and watch all the videos and do all the drawing assignments. After I take my big test, I'm gonna binge watch all those. I'm gonna go do all his drawing assignments, because it's so exciting to see someone professional and dedicated and experienced, just talking about drawing, encouraging people, showing cool stuff. It reminds me of my school days, where I'd watch what my teachers did, and I learned by just kind of watching for a few minutes how they were approaching their own drawing. And you couldn't just like I couldn't just like imitate that like monkey see monkey do, but just paying attention to that would go into my head and maybe kind of be in the back of my mind, and I think about that as I draw. And that's one of the best things about art school is the peers who are your co-students, working with them and talking to them about the thing you love, and the teachers, if the teachers know what they're doing, right? So I love you guys who are kind of like talking to me about Twitter, making fun of me a bit, catching things that I missed. That's helping me know that I'm not just an insane person talking on my phone. I make fun of myself. This is kind of a goofy channel where I have some fun, but I think it has come across that I'm very passionate about the things I'm doing, and I want to make work that can help people. So I guess the reason I'm thinking about Ethan Van Sciver's channel is he's accomplishing something that I want to accomplish for other people as well. I'm just kind of a younger and less experienced artist than he is, but he's giving me kind of a template for things I want to do in the future. The other one is I found a channel called Strip Panel Naked that is doing compositional analysis of comic books, breaking down each panel, kind of talking about the emotional effect of them. And yes, it's like I found someone who is interested in that same thing as me. But then so there was kind of a yes, and then there was a oh no, because I realized, oh man, there's so much more professional at editing and putting everything together. So that's kind of helping light a fire under me and help me think about how I can very seriously approach talking about comics and talking about art, because I am very serious about these subjects. I guess what I like about this channel is the very first video I did was completely on a whim. I was just really passionate about this manga I just read. I was thinking about, issues of social justice and feminism, and I just made the video before I thought about it too much. And now I've kind of outed myself as a traditional conservative. I can't go back to just trying to pretend that I'm, Mr. alt-centrist, neutral, male feminist. And that's good for me, because I spent lots of years kind of just keeping my opinions on the down low. And I feel like now that I've kind of started a channel where I just go on about what I'm thinking about, I'm free to talk about some of these things without being scared of getting hauled in front of, the gender studies professor for a lecture on saying the wrong thing. And my view of anonymity is I would never want to say something anonymously that, I'd be ashamed of if I did get doxxed. But I do view kind of being semi-anonymous. There are people who know who I am, who could, call the cops if I did something really bad, or if I could kind of tell me, hey, knock it off, number one Marmaduke fan, if I was getting a little too mean-spirited or crazy on the internet. But I do see anonymity as having this value of you can talk a little bit about things that you might otherwise not feel free to talk about. Where the point isn't to say, yes, I can now say any evil thing I want to say. The point is I can just be me and give you my immediate thoughts on, an SJW comic and why I'm not digging it, and not have some lunatic coming after me at my home address or coming after my family. So why did I talk about that? Man, these train of thoughts. Okay, leading into that is I thought about doing YouTube for a while, but I was always not quite brave enough or, had enough chutzpah to do it until I kind of on a whim said, I'm going to do it. And when I envisioned what kind of videos I would make, I'm kind of a straight A, sort of typical, not nerd as a pejorative, not nerd as a pseudo-cool chic thing, where I'd always try to do my best job for the teacher and get, read all the books and get all the citations and double check all the spelling, dot the I's, cross the T's, right? I was that kind of person. So I envisioned myself making more kind of Douglas Ernst style presentations where everything was really carefully thought out and everything was really carefully put together. By the way, this is Nicholas Nickleby intervening when Waxford Squares, the evil schoolmaster, was about to beat a student. It's a really great... That's a really heroic moment. And Nickleby is kind of a slender, weak, timid little man, but he has this great heroic depth to him. I don't know. I don't want to get caught up talking about Nickleby since I'm now talking about my goals and my vision for the future now. But so I would envision myself doing like really careful, really well thought out think pieces where I'd have a script. I wouldn't go on tangents as much. I'd have a point, and it'd be more like an essay, an essay in the form of a video presentation. And now I'm ending up kind of doing all of these kind of thinking out loud, talking to myself, but then talking to you guys. So I see this as the equivalent of talking around the lunch table with other art students about things we care about and topics we're interested in, where your feedback's helping me a lot. And even if you say something dumb at the lunch table, it's not like this is a big speech that's going to be recorded and preserved forever. This is kind of amongst friends, we're talking about things we're interested in. And the topics I'm talking about are comics related, but they're also more broadly interested in literature, storytelling, and art, and how training your imagination and training your desire to make lots of work is very much connected with what you read, what you take in, garbage in, garbage out, good stuff in, good stuff out. So I guess what I'm getting at is I do want to make serious. I've kind of the description of this channel now is I want to make very serious art critiques, and then it's Marmaduke, surfboarding, and a lot of kind of like goofy humor, self-deprecating humor. And I don't want to stop doing that. I'm going to keep doing that because I feel like doing number one Marmaduke fan has helped me. I want to keep doing it. I need to have this place where I can just throw these ideas out there. And let's see, I'm going to give Waxford Squares a bit more of a widow's peak. And I don't want him to just be like a 25-year-old man with wrinkles on him, so he needs a bit more of an angular jaw. Even more bald than that. He's a nasty guy, Waxford Squares. But I want to keep making kind of loose, quick videos like this, but I do want to make what I'd consider formal presentations on topics relevant to art that I think are important. And I think this might, I've hinted at the idea of another channel, I think, but I've learned so much from kind of Zach and other YouTubers like Sargon of Akkad. There seems to be this pattern that you have one channel for, one type of work and one for the other. Now, for Sargon, the division is kind of bleep posting for his second channel and serious vids for his main channel. I guess for me, the main channel seems to be bleep posting or me just jawing off. Zach divides his content based on the style of the content. So short videos with an idea for DNC when it's not getting shut down by kind of false flag operations, and Splato del Gato for live streams and hangouts. And I think the division for me is going to be stream of consciousness. Hey, here are a few quick thoughts, guys. What do you think? Am I stupid? For number one Marmaduke fan, because I don't know about you, but number one Marmaduke fan, that's like some top keck level spiciness there. That I'm not going to waste that username. That is too golden. I don't even know if that video exists anymore since Zach had to purge a lot of his stuff, but I'm going to try to go through all his old videos, just A, to kind of rethink about what I've learned from Zach, and B, to see if I can find the number one Marmaduke fan, the origin of that joke, and save it before that gets taken down by somebody. But he needs a tailcoat on him because kind of penguin-esque. But why did I want to do that? Well, yeah, because I'm going to keep doing number one Marmaduke fan. I'm not going to stop doing number one Marmaduke fan because doing number one Marmaduke fan has helped me so much. You guys have helped me think through some things, but I do want to have like a second wave. And I take art seriously. Like, I never envisioned myself as a YouTuber. I loved YouTube. I loved the conversations going on YouTube. And as I've got career plans. I've got career goals. So it's not like I need to be a successful YouTuber to take care of myself, but I care enough about art that I am passionate enough that I want to keep making videos, and I feel like I could, everyone says make daily content. So I guess the reason I'm thinking so much is, do I want to make daily content just for the sake of making daily content and trying to make YouTube a side business, or do I just want to make videos when I'm really passionate about the topic? And I guess the conclusion I came to is, as long as I think carefully about a book, I can figure out something to talk about that's relevant with it. I don't want the tail there because that spoils his nice outline. So I'm going to give just kind of a I'm just going to apply the back of the coat there. There we go. There we go. He needs the front of his coat needs to come down. Okay, and then his pant leg would cover up his musculature a little bit. But yeah, so I feel like I can commit to making daily content. I'm studying right now and trying to take seriously my my last big test, but come what may, for good or ill, after I finish that up, I feel like I'm going to have some free time open up where I want to give myself creative projects to keep me focused on my art and not lose touch with that, because once you're out of art school, so many people drop off and lose, they'll just stop making art. And I never want that to happen to me. And I'm really passionate about continuing my own artistic practice and talking about what I've learned that's helped me, power through when I'm down in the dumps or something, or I'm doubting my own artistic potential. That's another reason I'm jiving with Ethan Van Sciver, is he's an encourager. So because I've spent so much time thinking about, should I be making art? Should I get a grown-up job? And I've concluded that I need to make art. It's something that I have to do. And comics are one of the art form that I really connect with, because it's the art form of telling stories. I want to talk about what I've learned. I want to look back on my years as an art student and try to facilitate what I've learned and what's been important about it. And so, I don't want to come off as like an egomaniac where I feel like I'm talking like I'm the best artist on the block, but I do feel like since I've graduated art school, I might have some, if Ethan Van Sciver's your awesome professor that you need to learn from, I'm kind of like your older bro at the art school. You're the freshman, I'm the senior, and I'm trying to help you know what's what, around campus. Here's how you make the art professor really happy with your work and get some of that extra credit by putting in the extra time. And here's the kind of stuff he likes to look for. Here's how you show good at it. That kind of stuff. Like I'm your big bro art student who wants to see you succeed and do really well in class, because I love your art and I want to see you make more of it. So pretty much, I guess, the stream of consciousness has said what I want to say, and I don't want to repeat it. So go watch the Nickleby production. Dang it, A&E doesn't really make it available. You can buy the DVDs used for like $50. In this day and age, if you Google it, you might be able to watch it somewhere. So I will not encourage you to do something illegal or against your conscience. But if you can find a way to watch the A&E 8-hour production of Nickleby and draw while you watch it, I think you'll observe something that I'm observing, which is that these actors' performances are so intense. That's it. Joker in Suicide Squad, they did all this, marketing junk about how he was method acting and sending rats and condoms to his co-workers. But I think the reason that everybody's trying to use method acting as a way of selling something is because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. And then they tried to do that with, I don't even know what Jay Leto. They tried to say that Jay Leto did some of that, and it wasn't as cool. You want to see some intense actors, man. I don't even know if the actors in Nickleby are method actors, but just to have the endurance to for 8 hours to portray these characters, it's physically daunting with the task of putting on that show. It's one of the most incredible works of theater ever made, and because of that, I think they have tremendous energy. These are actors with tremendous energy, and that energy comes off in how they portray the characters. If you go back and watch my weird, creepy video on Charles Dickens where I was walking around in the middle of the night, I said that Dickens had the imagination of a cartoonist, and I believe that. And because he had the imagination of the cartoonist, it's almost hard for anyone in real life to capture his characters, because he would describe them in ways where they're almost unreal. They're almost beyond the realm of what's normal. But that portrayal of the characters in that theater production is so impressive that affected my imagination when I then went and read the book, even though I kind of have this sort of cartoony imagination, and I see the energy of, let's see, he needs some shadow under his eye, this poor kid. But yeah. Dang it. All right, so I don't want to go on too long. Eventually, I think I'm going to start doing live streams. At first, I didn't really get what the whole point of live streams was, and I was always missing Zach's live streams, but I think it's really helpful for me to draw and talk, and live streaming seems perfect for that because you've seen me kind of doodle this out from my imagination a little bit. This is just one really powerful moment from the play that's always stuck in my mind, and I feel like I took a little longer than this than I normally would when I'm talking about quick drawing and taking notes. So I want to do live streams where I show you what I mean by that because I think that's a method that can help you. Go do the Ethan Van Sciver videos. That's your homework, guys, from your buddy #1 Marmaduke fan. And in the future, maybe after I take my test, I want to do some live streams showing you guys some drawings. So since I'm somewhat taking YouTube a little bit more seriously now, why don't you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, make sure you're subscribed, and share, because I will be doing live streams, and I'd love for to have people kind of hopping in the comments and chatting with me while you do it, and do the drawing with me while you do it. That's what I'd love. So the basic idea is like we'll all watch something or listen to something together, and we'll all draw while we do it, and I'll just kind of make note of comments as I'm quickly drawing, because I draw quickly enough I can look up and read and even not look at the paper for a little bit. So I think that'd be really fun. If any of you guys have your YouTube channels and that sounds like something you'd want to do with me, hit me up on Twitter at @NO1 Marmaduke fan, or here at YouTube, and let's plan something. So thanks, you guys. I love you. Keep drawing, keep making art, keep making comments. Comics. Man, I cannot the words today. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. Catch you later.